Ready, hunt!
There was talk during the realignment, all stuff, that Texas may go one way, you may go the other way. Do you think it's important for you and Texas to be in the same conference?
Well, I think it's fair to say that we both complement each other really well, and that maybe 1 and 1 doesn't equal 2 with the two of us together. It may equal more like 4. But only if it's done properly and harmoniously, and if it isn't, then it's not necessary. Then you have to do what you got to do and live the way you got to live. And and then some things are pretty cut and dry. And then people got to live with what the consequences of that are. And then you move on and find other things, other rivalries, and other people to get excited about.
Well, Bob, what would be appropriate or harmonious or inappropriate and disharmony?
That's not for me to. Good try, but I mean, I'm not in those meetings. Those are for people that are a lot brighter than I am. So to handle those issues.
In your coaching career here, there are specific moments with this game that stick with you. Just a few that come to mind immediately when you think about Texas.
Geez, there's so many. I can't tell you all of them. I mean. Oh. Geez. Roy's play, of course, is one of the more special ones. Not allowing Jason White to throw the whole second half, or I think he threw 3 passes the whole second half, and one of those maybe 2003. Was that, I don't, because we were already ahead so much. Brandon Everidge sacking Vince Young to end the game on one of the, might have been the year we shut him out. Those kind of things, but it goes on and on. And everybody has their own, I'm sure Mac and Texas have theirs. It's one of those. There's a bunch of them though when you've been in 12 of them. So.
13 years. This will be 13 years. You and Mac. How long are you two going to go together?
Hard to tell. Marriages are hard to keep together. You know that. Today's world, with all the realignment and family fighting, those kind of things.
Well, Al asked you earlier about Texas last year, Texas this year. Did you have any sense that was a team that could spiral last year? And then conversely, do you have a sense that they're going the other, another better direction this year?
No, I'm not much on whether I can anticipate another. I'm too focused on our team to put a lot of energy on what whether someone else will spiral or not spiral. To me, I focus totally on our energy, what we need to do.
You mentioned Roy Williams' play. Does he remind you, or does Tony Jefferson remind you of all of Roy Williams?
I'm asked that a lot. And the fact that he makes a ton of plays, yes. So it's fair to say, in the way he plays and the plays he makes, I just feel it's a little early to put him in that category, to put that kind of pressure on him. But he's working his way towards that for sure.
Do you feel like one of the advantages you have coming into this game is a quarterback in Landry that's been through it before, as opposed to Texas with 2 quarterbacks that haven't played in that situation?
Well, hopefully it's positive. We love the way Landry plays, what he's doing, and sure, now that the more and more experience he gets. But I believe, just like for them and for Landry, that position needs supported. If the other, you got to protect them, you got to run the ball, receivers got to catch it. You got to beat coverage to get open. So it isn't all on those guys or my guy. It's, that position needs supported and for it to perform well.
Defensively, they're really good. It seems on the edge. Could you talk about the strengths of their defense?
Yeah, they've got good speed. Like you said, Jeffcoat, good, excellent guys up front. I think they're they do a good job, trying to pressure you from different ways. So you got to be able to, to hopefully at times, you got to try and take advantage of that too. So those are things that you work through the week, and if you can protect something or catch people in something, and hopefully you got to try and counter it. But but they do a nice job mixing it up and playing aggressively.
Do any of your recent players have younger siblings you can find and recruit and play?
I'm sure they do.
It's kind of uncanny, isn't it? Kind of uncanny how many they.
Yeah, that's pretty special for them, really. Yeah, special for their families, I'm sure.
It looked like Jarvis Jones played pretty well.
He did.
Did he? How much did he play? And do you know where you're going to play him this week?
Jarvis did play well, and and it's it's been so long since he played. It's just getting him more and more comfortable and knocking the rust off. But he'll play a tackle, but I'm sure we'll experiment here as the week goes. With him some in at guard possibly too.
What about Darrell Williams?
He's doing well. He's recovered from that ankle injury, and he's coming along well.
You had mentioned Stephen Good as a player of the game.
No, I said he had a good game
Good
up
game,
front.
excuse me, good game. He took over for Eichert. Eichert, again, you mentioned, those guys seem to be working well together for you in a new, kind of a new setup for them.
Yeah, that whole line though, they have been playing together now for a couple of years, and so they're sort of interchangeable, one side to the other or center to guard, and they communicate well together, and they have some experience and maturity that you would expect. Stevens played a lot of football here, so it was good to see him play well.
Do you ever eat a corn dog or go out and experience the fair at all?
No, I was asked that yesterday. I'm not much on corn dogs. A regular old ballpark hot dog I'll take with some mustard, but the only time I've ever experienced anything at the fair was after the 2000 game. We let the players go for about 2.5 hours to see their families, run around the fair, back on the bus at whatever, it was 5:30 or something. And my wife and I and some of the other coaches in Wise, we sat at a picnic table and under a tree and out of the way of everybody, and enjoyed it was a sunny day. I guess it was a rainy day early, but it was, by that time it was pretty nice, and that's about it.
Could you do that again? You got an 11 a.m. kick. Things go well.
Probably not. Players anymore are kind of anxious to come home, so I've asked them that after that, and the coach, let's just go home. So I let them make that call.
Coach, how has this series evolved? It seems like it with some of the fans, it's gotten more bitter since in the last 12 years. From your standpoint, how has it?
Fans have gotten better. They don't like Texas, and Texas doesn't like us. More so? Is that possible?
Well, especially after the 2008 season. But how have you seen it?
Oh, I think since the time I got here in '99 and 2000, when we were both fighting for the division championship and to play in the Big 12, I thought from then on it couldn't get much worse. I mean, it's what you want, in a rivalry game, and so I don't mean I think it's great. I think it's what you want it to be.
Bob, have you put out any extra warning, it being such a big rivalry game? Have you put out any extra warning about tweeting, keeping that stuff low key?
Of course. I already have.
One of the things Mac did recall was how unruly and just brutal OU fans are, that he can hear them on the sidelines. Obviously, you're trying to keep that stuff out of your head, but what do you remember about Texas fans as you're on there out on the field, and things that are said to you? And
Not much, really. I don't pay attention. It goes right past me. I've got both my head, I'm just listening, talking, and so I can't say that I remember anything, to be quite honest. I'm sure, now don't act like they've been just polite and throwing me flowers, but I just hadn't paid attention, to be quite honest with you, and won't be. So.
What about the bus ride in? You ever notice with the fans or?
Oh yeah, geez, you get all kind of things pointed at you and flexed at you and everything else. So that's the best. I truly though marvel at people Mike, really? I'm on a bus. I can't hear you. I don't know you. I could care less. So anyway, it just really does. You worry about people sometimes. Like, come on. You know, you got, I don't know. I don't want to say. Anyway, find something positive to do.
You haven't been mooned?
I don't think I've been mooned. I'd have probably remembered that. So,
When you watched this game growing up as a football fan, of course, coaching elsewhere, you knew about it. Was it like what you thought it'd be now because you're the head coach, or was it different? Anything?
Yeah, but I don't know. I've experienced at this point in my career a lot of rivalry games through the years. So, you know, so yeah, it is. It's what I anticipated it'd be, and what you want it to be.
Famous hat that Coach Switzer wore that said "Beat Texas." What do you think would happen if you wore a hat like that, or are you going to?
Why wouldn't I wear a hat like that? Nike gives me one, I'll put it on. I mean, what do you think I'm saying? Not to beat them? You know, it's not like I'm saying something else that, you know, beat Texas, that's not a big deal.
Well,
I've seen some other hats that would be a big deal.
I think fans all want to believe their rivalry's bigger than everybody else's rivalry. You can think of Ohio State, Michigan, Auburn, Alabama. But does this one rate higher for you, or does it rate unique versus others? I mean, is there something separate about it?
Well, yeah, for me, like you said, everyone thinks theirs is the most special. Well, I'm a decent part of this one, so it's of course it's more special, and you know, anyone who's involved in them, that one becomes the most important or the most special one. Times when 3 years I was at Florida, the Florida-Georgia one was, you know, so it's just where you're at the time and what you're trying to do. All right, thank you.